Hey guys, today I will be taking a look at the latest poll out of every state for both President Trump and Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election, and I will only be taking a look at the A and B rated pollsters on 538, as I think that these polls are pretty reliable, so you're not going to see any C, D, or F rated pollsters from 538. So I'm going to be using my normal margins as always: solid, likely, lean, and tilt. And so starting off with the state of Alabama, I do like to go in alphabetical order. I think this is the best way to do things. So the state of Alabama, Trump leads by just 4%. 4% in a state that he won by over 25% in 2016. So this is quite a shift to the left. This is considered to be the most conservative state in the entire South, but now it seems as if Trump is only up 4%. And let me move on to the next state, the state of Alaska. Things are not any better here. Trump leads by 1%, according to the latest poll out of the state of Alaska. This is a state that he won by 14.4% 4 years ago. So this is a 13-point swing to the left in favor of Joe Biden from the numbers we saw in 2016. The state of Arizona, another state that Trump won, he won the state by 3.6%. And guess what? Joe Biden leads here by 11%. That's going to go into the likely Biden column. The state of Arkansas, Trump leads by just 2%. So that's going to join the disappointing numbers that Trump is currently seeing in the South, as we'll see when this map starts to fill up a little bit more. The state of California, Joe Biden leads by 27%, very solid blue state, putting him up at 66 electoral votes. The state of Colorado is next. It's going to join the state of Arizona in the likely Biden column. Joe Biden leads by 12% here in the state of Colorado, and then the state of Connecticut, Joe Biden leads by 20%, a very solid state here in the Northeast. And then the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, this is his home state. He served as a senator from the state of Delaware for over 3 decades before joining Barack Obama in the White House. As you can see, Joe Biden leads with a 21% margin. And out of the District of Columbia, there's no data. This is a district that went to Hillary Clinton by over 90%. I think almost 90%. I believe it was 89% for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So this state is going to be solid for the Democrats no matter what. But we're going to fill this in at the end of this video, as there's technically no data out of the District of Columbia. The state of Florida, Joe Biden leads by 4%. That's going to go into the lean column for Joe Biden, just 4% in favor of the former vice president, to say that he was leading in by over 8% in the summer. However, numbers are still pretty solid for him. He still currently is expected to win the state of Florida. The state of Georgia, this is a state that he's not expected to win, but according to the latest poll, it's going to join the state of Florida in the lean column for Joe Biden. I think this is definitely a great sign. This is not a state that I think he really stands a chance in, as in I don't think he's going to win this state. I think he's definitely going to do very well here and better than any Democratic candidate since 1992. But I think that Joe Biden, at the end of the day, is still going to lose this state unless we see more polls where Joe Biden is doing even better. But currently, Joe Biden leads by 3% here in the state of Georgia. The state of Hawaii, Joe Biden leads by 27%, so very good sign for the former vice president. And then the state of Idaho, 25% in favor of the current president. The state of Illinois, this is a new state that we're going to have data from on this map. Joe Biden leads by 13%. This is definitely an outlier that shifted to the right. I think definitely the state of Illinois is going to be a solid Democratic state on election night, but the polls do say that Biden is only up 13% here right now. The state of Indiana, Donald Trump leads by 17%. That's going to be the second solid state for President Trump on this map. 11 electoral votes. This is Mike Pence's home state, so it's really not too much of a surprise that Donald Trump is doing relatively well here compared to some other states. The state of Kansas, this is a state that Trump is definitely tanking in. Donald Trump leads by 10% in the state of Kansas. It's a good margin. He's still going to win this state, but Kansas, it's just really disappointing to see that Trump is only leading here by 10%. You see some pretty close races here in the Senate and presidential race here in the state of Kansas. The state of Kentucky, this is going to be the third solid state for President Trump. President Trump leads by 18% in Mitch McConnell's home state of Kentucky. And then the state of Louisiana, President Trump leads by 6%. That's going to join the states of Arkansas and Alabama in the lean column here for President Trump. These are all states in the Deep South. These tend to be some of the most conservative states in the entire country. But according to these polls, they are really not. They are some of the closest states in the entire country. This is followed by the state of Maine, where we have the at-large vote currently polling in favor of Joe Biden by 12%. That's going to be lean. And then the first district is definitely solid for Joe Biden, polling in favor of the former vice president by 22%. And then the second district of Maine, Joe Biden leads at 1%. He's been leading pretty consistently here by 1 to 2% in basically every single poll out of the second district of Maine. So that's going to go into the tilt column for Joe Biden, followed by the states of Maryland and Massachusetts. In Maryland, Joe Biden leads by 32%. And then the state of Massachusetts, Joe Biden leads by 39%. This is Elizabeth Warren's home state in the most liberal country, or not country, the most liberal state in the entire country. Next is the state of Michigan, 16 electoral votes, a state that went to Trump by 0.2% in 2016. Joe Biden currently leads in this state by 8%. That's going to go into the likely column for the former vice president. And then the state of Minnesota, Joe Biden leads by 6%. That's going to go into the lean column for Joe Biden. This is a little bit of a lower poll here in the state of Minnesota for Joe Biden. His average is still up at 9%. Minnesota, Biden leads by 6% in the latest poll. The state of Mississippi, Trump leads by 10%. It's going to go into the likely column for Donald Trump. This is the poll that's polling the best for the president here in the Deep South. This is very surprising to see, very shocking to take a look at. I think this is definitely some pretty horrible news for the president, considering that he's doing so horribly in the South. These are all states that Trump won by basically every single state that is red on this map. Trump won by a solid margin in 2016, with the exception of the state of Alaska, where he was able to win by 14.4%, which is just 0.6% away from being a solid margin for the president in 2016. Next, we have the state of Missouri. Trump leads by 7%. That's going to go into the likely column as well, joining Kansas and Mississippi. We have the state of Montana, 7 points in favor of Donald Trump, 3 electoral votes. This state is a state that is pretty solid for the Republicans in general on presidential elections, or have been, but now clearly that is not the case. This state is closer on the Senate level, as Steve Bullock is still doing relatively well for a Democrat here in the state of Montana. Next, we have the state of Nebraska. Currently, there's no data out of the at-large vote here in Nebraska. Out of the first district, Donald Trump leads by 2%. It's going to go into the lean column for the president. And then in the second district, Joe Biden leads by 7%. It's going to go into the likely column for Joe Biden. And then out of the third district of Nebraska, this is the most conservative district in the entire country. Currently, President Trump is not leading. There's no data out of this district. President Trump is almost definitely going to carry this district, and of course we're going to fill in these no data areas at the end of this video. And next we have the state of Nevada. Joe Biden leads by 4%, so he's now doing much better in Arizona than the state of Nevada according to the latest poll. So this is pretty interesting to take a look at. Plus 4% for Joe Biden in the state of Nevada. And then the state of New Hampshire, Joe Biden leads by 9%. That's going to go into the likely column for Joe Biden. His numbers here have been doing pretty well for Joe Biden in the state of New Hampshire. He has seen quite a bit of a surge here, going from a lean to likely margin in favor of the vice president in the state of New Hampshire. And the state of New Jersey, Joe Biden leads by 18%. That's going to go into the very solid column for Joe Biden. And in the state of New Mexico, this is pretty surprising here. Joe Biden leads by 15% in a state that Clinton won by just 5% in 2016. 15%, the state of New Mexico is also going to go into the solid column for Joe Biden. The state of New York, Joe Biden leads by 31%, another very liberal state, followed by the state of North Carolina. This is the first time that it's going to go into the Trump column. Trump leads by 1%. This is probably the only state in which Trump has actually improved in the last couple of weeks. North Carolina, Trump +1. The state of North Dakota, Trump +19. So that's definitely going to be in the very solid column for the current president. And then the state of Ohio. This is the state of Ohio, a state that went to the president by over 8% 4 years ago, very similar to the margins that he saw in Texas. Iowa, of course, did go to President Obama in 2008 and 2012. However, the state has moved quite a bit to the right since those elections. So the state of Ohio is currently polling in favor of Joe Biden by 5%. I don't know why I was on Iowa that whole time, but that does remind me, I did skip the state of Iowa. I don't know how I was able to do that, but the state of Iowa currently is polling in favor of Joe Biden by 2%. So that's going to go into the lean column for Joe Biden as well. So currently in these states, Iowa, Ohio, Georgia, Florida, 4 states that went to Trump in 2016, these states are all in the lean column for Joe Biden, not even tilt, the lean column for Joe Biden in 2020. And then next we have the state of Oklahoma. Trump leads by 24%. That's going to be a very solid state. This is only his 5th solid state on this electoral map. And then the state of Oregon, we do have a new poll. It's a little bit more accurate. Joe Biden leads by 17% in the latest poll out of the state of Oregon. And then the state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden leads by 10%. That's also going to be in the likely column for Joe Biden, according to the latest poll. And then the state of Rhode Island, there's currently no data out of this state. And then we have the state of South Carolina. This is a pretty surprising one. Donald Trump is up 1 point in South Carolina. He now leads by the same margin in South Carolina than North Carolina. So this is not a good sign. I think that if Biden ever is going to lead in South Carolina, I think Trump is absolutely doomed. He cannot win the election if he does not win South Carolina, because other states are not going to vote for President Trump if he can't even get South Carolina to be on his side. South Carolina, of course, went to the president by over 14% in 2016 as well, almost being a very solid state. And then next we have the state of South Dakota. There's no data out of South Dakota. It's going to be marked yellow for now. And then the state of Texas, President Trump, or not Texas, the state of Tennessee, I always mix these two states up. But the state of Tennessee currently, Donald Trump leads by 9%. So that's going to go into the likely column for the president. So another solid state from 2016 that is no longer solid for the president. The state of Texas, the President Trump leads by 4%. So that's going to go into the lean column as well, joining Arkansas, Louisiana, and Alabama. And then the state of Utah, Trump leads by 18%. So pretty surprising here. President Trump is now leading better in the latest poll in Utah than he is in Alabama. And then we have the state of Vermont. This is a state that we now have polling data out of. Joe Biden leads by 23% out of the state of Vermont. And then the state of Virginia, Joe Biden is plus 5 points. That's going to go into the lean column. This is a little bit of an outlier poll that shows Biden not as up as he typically would be. The state of Washington, Joe Biden leads by 22%, so another solid state for the former vice president. And then the state of West Virginia, President Trump leads by 37 points. The state of Wisconsin, Biden leads by 8 points. That's going to be another likely state for the former vice president. And then lastly, the state of Wyoming, there's of course no data. So this is the 2020 electoral map based on the latest poll out of each state, which each poll at least being a B-rated pollster. So currently Donald Trump has 169 electoral votes to Joe Biden with 253, and there are 16 electoral votes where there is no data out of those states. So these no data states are going to be very solid for either party. Wyoming is going to be solid for President Trump, as well as South Dakota. The state of North Carolina, the state of Nebraska is going to be solid for the president, as well as the 3rd district. And then the state of Rhode Island, as well as the District of Columbia, is of course going to be solid for Joe Biden, giving Joe Biden 360 electoral votes to President Trump with 178. And taking a look at this map, so the states that Trump is no longer leading with a solid margin in, that he won with a solid margin in 2016, we have the states of Montana, the state of Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. These states all went to the president by a solid margin. And then Alaska and South Carolina, these states went to him by over 14%, so just 1% off from being a solid margin. States of Iowa, Ohio, Georgia, Florida all went to the president 4 years ago, as well as the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all now likely blue states. We also have the district, the 2nd district of Maine, the 2nd district of Nebraska that went to President Trump 4 years ago, as well as the state of Arizona. The states of Iowa, he won by 9%, Ohio 8%, Georgia 6%, Florida 1.2%, Arizona 3%. So this is some pretty depressing data for the president right now. He is down in so many different states. The blue wall has been completely rebuilt, and Joe Biden has basically swept the entire Midwest, with the exception of the state of Indiana, which does seem to still be more conservative. And so, yeah, that is just pretty devastating data. I think that with the next couple of days after this debate, that Joe Biden has basically won, in my opinion. Most people do agree that Joe Biden did have a win. It did pull off a win, not a great win, but he didn't lose, so he won. And so we're going to see some more data. I think that data is definitely going to show that Joe Biden is doing even better than he is right now. So if you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like down below, as well as subscribing to my channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, along with any video suggestions for videos you'd like to see from me in the future. And I will see all of you guys in the next video.